Welcome to Fantasy Football Hub for the next episode in the My Team series. Today, FPL Mate will be revealing his current drafts. This is a man with over 170,000 subscribers on his own FPL YouTube channel, posting an impressive finish of 243rd just a couple of seasons ago. Dan, how are you doing, mate? Pleasure to chat to you today.
Yeah, I'm good. Good to speak to you again, man. Doing good. Busy time for all FPL creators at the moment. I'm sure you're feeling it as well. So much stuff to get out and still 3 weeks more of content as well. How are you doing?
Mate, it's crazy, isn't it? A lot going on. Things are changing every single day. So I'm excited to see your draft. As always, we're going to be building this live on the My Team tool. So Dan, if you're ready, kick us off. Who's in goal as it stands today?
Well, as things stand today, we have got Flecken in goal, but obviously Onana's been released at 5 million, so I'm thinking about maybe switching to him. But right now, I am on the 4.5 million Brentford man, Flecken. Been given assurances that he's going to be the new number one. I'm kind of hoping that Raya leaves the club though before I fully commit to this one, but for me, he's the best 4.5 million goalkeeper, so he's the one in net.
It's nice that Onana's come in at that 5 million though, isn't it? Give us something to think about. Yeah, but for now, Flecken looks good. And are you partnering him with a budget keeper, or are you going to be rotating this season?
I'm going to partner him with a 4 million Bentley, Daniel Bentley of Wolves, who apparently could find himself sneaking in as that number one goalkeeper for Wolves. There's a chance, but with all of these 4 million goalkeepers, there's only a slim chance of any of them getting game time, so you're just picking the best of a bad bunch, really.
I guess that is shown in the predicted points, just 0.7 per game, but better than a lot that we've seen. Those are the goalkeepers. Let's get into the defenders.
All right, let's put Estupinian in first of all. He's in everyone's team, so I may as well get that bad boy out the way. I'm sure he's sick of hearing about him, but yeah, attacking Brighton left back, like gets through on goal a lot of the time, takes shots, and has amazing fixtures, so what's not to love?
Absolutely. Yeah, in my team, so can't argue with that one. Okay, who's next?
We'll put Gabriel in next. I think he's another fairly template defensive pick. Prefer to go for him than Ramsdale, just because you get that attacking threat. You get those kind of corner headers, which you got to be in it to win it. You got to make your own luck, and you get the feeling with these fixtures, you could get a lucky corner goal from the Arsenal man. So yeah, I'm feeling this one.
Absolutely. Another player that's in a lot of drafts for good reason. And are you going with a back three, or are you going with a back four?
We got a back three. We got a back three today.
Okay. Round it off for us.
Rounding it off with Mr. Reece James.
Wow.
Chelsea.
There it is.
Yeah. I need to have a little bit of spice, a little bit of excitement in my FPL team. So that's where I'm going. I'm going Reece James.
Right, let's talk about this man, because he is not someone that I've seen in a lot of drafts at all. I was waiting for the spice to come in, Dan. I really was. I'm not going to lie. I know what you're like. I knew there was something coming.
So Reece James, right?
Yeah, 17% owned, which is actually, given his injury record, perhaps relatively high, but the potential for points, as we've seen over the seasons, is just incredible. And those fixtures are pretty good. Obviously, it starts with Liverpool, but after that, it's good, no?
It's good for a long while as well. Like for the first 8 game weeks, he'll take you all the way up to your wild card. Really, really good. But no, I like the Chelsea fullbacks in general. I think we've all liked them, the idea of them at least, for the past few seasons. We've got a Pochettino coming to Chelsea, which hopefully should see the fullbacks in full action. But what I like the most is the fact that they only play 1 game per week, which is something that we haven't seen from Chelsea in a number of years. So I think that 1 game per week could really help with someone like Reece James, who typically maybe struggles with 2 games a week. We know his injury record isn't great as well. So maybe there's going to be a little advantage there. Could get some set pieces as well from Reece James. So I kind of like the idea of that.
Yeah, I mean, great pick. The likes of Chilwell and James, we've seen a couple of teams. Well, Chilwell a little bit has been kind of floated a little bit as an option that could come in after the first game week. But yeah, love it. So that means no Trent then, right?
Yeah, no Trent. But I can tell you the next player, and it's kind of related to Reece James. So one thing I like about Reece James compared to Chilwell is that I do feel like in certain games, maybe Chilwell and Cucurella could kind of be rotated with each other a little bit, depending on the fixture, depending on who the opposition is. Now, Reece James can only be rotated with one man if he's injured or, if he's rotated. So why not stick that one man on your bench? Malo Gusto, 4.0 million defender. Get him on that bench, cover Reece James, and it's an unbeatable plan, right? You can't lose.
Yeah, maybe in theory. I don't know. Maybe someone else could potentially go in there, but I mean, the logic is sound, at least. Wow.
only two right backs at the club at the moment. So, if Reece James misses out for whatever reason, I've got 4 million back up there as well, which I think works for me.
Well, what's funny is that he's actually at 1% ownership. Whereas, we have the likes of Bayer and Bell and Baldock who are more likely to play than Gusto. So maybe you're not the only person doing this James Gusto little link up. Very inventive. I like it. Yeah. Okay, right, go on then. Who's your last defender?
My last defender, who's probably going to come ahead on the bench, really, typically, is going to be Pau Torres. Really like him. My favorite 4.5 million defender. I know a lot of people are going for Botman at the moment. Like the fixtures for Botman just not it at the moment. Like certainly until first wild card, I can actually see Botman dropping down in price a little bit. Whereas Aston Villa, I'm actually kind of confident. I think they're going to be like the underdogs of the new season. I think they could have a really, they could be like this season's Brighton or this season's Newcastle in a way. I'm kind of excited to see them crack on. And Torres as well, ball playing centre back, going to be picking up those bonus points just from passing the ball about. So that could be pretty nice as well, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, their signings this window have been phenomenal. They're up for it, aren't they? You can see the club are really going in one direction. Yeah. So because I guess you don't have Trent there, the money's been a little bit more spread out throughout the team, and to have Torres as your first bench option is really, really strong. Absolutely. Okay, so that is it for the defense. Let's get into the midfield.
All right, this midfield is stacked. It is stacked.
Nice.
Where should we start off? I guess we start off with Saka, because everyone's got him, right?
Yeah.
Have you done a single video in this series where someone hasn't had Saka?
There are a couple of like Odegaard shouts in there, but they're all based on, they come with the words, I know that Saka's probably a better pick, but
Right.
So it's one of those ones. I think the majority are on Saka, as shown by his ownership at over half the game.
Yeah. Second highest owned player now, I believe. He's overtaken Estupiñán. Yeah, as of like the last 24 hours. So yeah, wild. But yeah, like on penalties to play most of the minutes for Arsenal available. So yeah, really obvious pick, really. I think that's why everyone's going for him.
Sure. Who's next?
Let's go. I'm gonna go for like an order of ownership to save the spice to last. Keep that retention up on the video. We know how it's done.
You can tell this guy knows YouTube.
Let's put Kaoru Mitoma in next.
Nice.
Of Brighton, 6.5 million.
Yeah.
Solid pick. Another pretty obvious pick, decent fixtures. To be fair, I do think that he is maybe slightly overhyped. Like obviously very good pick, very good player. I think people are expecting him to be, Salah levels of returns. Not sure if that's going to happen, but with these fixtures should be pretty decent. And there's some other nice options around the 6.5 to 7.5 that you can kind of switch him out to by game week 4 or 5, where the fixtures do start to get a bit more naff. So yeah, you got options there.
Yeah, I mean 40% ownership is crazy for a Brighton midfielder, but yeah. He's shown that he can really match up to those to that price. Okay, so the next player has to be under 37% owned then.
All right, yeah. Let's. I'm trying to remember the ownerships of each of the players. I think my next most popular player is Marcus Rashford.
Is he really that low owned? Wow.
I think he's around 30 to 40%, something like that.
That surprised me. Yeah, he's about 40%, but that surprised me that he is that low.
But yeah, I think Rashford is. To be fair, he's one of those players who. He hasn't been in any of my drafts until this week. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to end with him or not, but right now he's in there. I just feel like maybe with Højlund coming into Manchester United, his role as the goal scorer, is going to be diminished a little bit. Is he going to be playing as a striker anymore? Probably not really very often at all anymore. Where last season, he actually did play, I don't know, about 40% of his games as that central striker, which I think did help him. But yeah, still fantastic player. Coming off the back of a really good season, was pretty much essential for most of last season. So it makes a lot of sense to go for him again.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't add anything onto that. So that is 3 there. Mm-hmm. Is there spicing coming?
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
Soon. Bruno Fernandes is next.
Nice.
I think among FPL content creators or, FPL nerds like us, which we are, I would say he's probably not that differential. A lot of people going for him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he's in my team for sure. I think I always say this on every video. He underperformed I don't know if he underperformed his numbers, but the numbers that he should have got last season were not gotten. Maybe that's down to his teammates. But yeah, I feel like this is a player that's been priced at, really premium prices before, and he's not changed. He's still that player. Only got 3 penalties last season as well. I think Man United. So that you'd expect to change as well.
Yeah, definitely that. And also he's got a striker in front of him now that isn't called Weghorst. So maybe the assist potential's gone up a little bit there as well.
That's a very, very key point. A very, very key point. Okay, then round us off then.
Okay, we've got two more.
Two more midfielders?
Yeah. 5-man midfield. How many of us said so far?
You said 4. You've said the 2 United, Saka, Mitoma.
Oh, okay. We got one more. We got one more. Sorry, I'm losing count here. I've got so many midfielders. You lose count.
But that's the thing. You can have up to 10. It feels like there are so many options. So yeah, I don't blame you.
All right. Well, I know who's the last player in midfield, and it is Martinelli, Gabriel Martinelli himself. I feel like that is, I don't know, a contentious one, probably. A lot of people differing opinions of whether he should be that, third Arsenal player you have or second Arsenal attacker. A lot of people going for Jesus right now. I understand why people would go for Jesus from a structural point of view, but really Martinelli for me is the better pick. And what I don't want to do is, we all know that we want to triple up on Arsenal. Arsenal have fantastic fixtures, really built their team, over the last year, and then again more in the summer, more players coming in. We're expecting them to not necessarily be title challengers, but they'll be up there. They'll be one of the top teams in the league with these amazing fixtures. For me personally, I want to have the best Arsenal players possible. I'm not prepared to compromise on that. And as far as I'm concerned, Martinelli is a better pick than Jesus. Jesus' numbers, I believe, are slightly better, but Martinelli, he gets more points, for goals. He gets more points for clean sheets, but more importantly, he's far more clinical. For me, Martinelli is Arsenal's best finisher, best goal scorer in the team. I think he scored 16 goals last season, something like that, 15, 16 goals last season. So there's no reason why a young player, improving player, hopefully getting a bit more game time as well, had an injury at the end of last season. Yeah. He could get 20 goals this season. I'm putting that one out there. He get 20 goals, and that what puts him at the same kind of level as a Salah or a Rashford or someone like that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen that with kind of inside forwards from the big teams over the last 5 years, especially thinking of Liverpool and United with Rashford as well. Mane would pop up with 20 goals. Obviously, Mane, class player, but Martinelli is still young, still improving every season. As you say, 15 goals, 9 assists last year. Really impressive, especially given that he didn't actually play every game week. As you said, he had the injury. Who knows? Especially given those fixtures. It's really hard to go against. Well, Triple Arsenal is locked, but Martinelli could be that third one that really does the business. Okay, that's the midfield. And for those of you keen-eyed viewers, 27 million, you might have noticed, remains in the bank. That's a lot of money for 3 players, or 2 players, really.
Yeah. Do you want to get the sub bench?
Go on.
Out of the way first. Just get them out of the way. It's Archer.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not really expecting a massive amount from him, to be honest. He's going to be third on the bench for me. Could get a little bit of game time when there's a little bit of rotation, possibly if Watkins is playing in the European games, potentially there. Archer's also just a very good player. I think he scored. It was something like, I can't remember exactly, but something like 10 goals and 4 assists in 19 appearances in the Championship last season. Pretty nuts, really. I think he got a couple of goals, a couple of assists at the under-21s Euros as well. Yeah. This guy's the real deal. He's the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. It's funny because when he comes on, he actually looks really good. So I've seen him live at Chelsea before. He just played really well. He just actually really kind of surprised me how good he was for someone that I associate as a 4.5 million forward. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, he's actually a really good footballer. Of course he is. Okay, so that's the bench striker. 22.5 to go. Who's it going to be?
Well, it's going to be Erling Haaland, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah. You bored of hearing that name yet? You must be.
Well, you know what? I can't ever say that I'm bored of a man that is that prolific, because he is just a specimen. But
true.
Yes, he is in every team for good reason.
Yeah. So is it even any point in speaking about this guy?
No, let's move on.
Probably not. Let's move on. Yeah. All right. So we've got one more slot left.
Yeah.
I believe I should have 8.5 million left in the bank at this point.
This is why I was interested in the total money, because there's no player at 8.5, but it means that you're saving a little bit, right? Okay, so let's get into who the £8 million forward is. Obviously, forward in general, cannot be Jesus. That's the interesting thing here. Yeah.
No, it can't be Jesus, which narrows you down a little bit, to be fair. But right now, I'm not sure how I feel about this myself. It is Nkunku.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that.
Yeah, 7.5. So that does leave 1 million in the bank. But yeah, I've gone for Nkunku. He's going to be on penalties. He's a really, really good football player. I know some people are worried about him being the new Werner or the new Havertz or whatever.
I hope not.
I get those comparisons, but he's also coming in at a really generous 7.5 million, which is something we've not really seen before. If we're expecting a resurgent Chelsea, this guy's going to be the talisman. He's going to be the key to it all. And like we say, after that Liverpool game, potentially that West Ham game, we've got some phenomenal fixtures for Chelsea. So he really is a player you can hold on to. And at 7.5 million, with the million in the bank, you do have that flexibility to go somewhere else if you need to. You can go for an Ollie Watkins. If that starts looking good, you can go for, like a Newcastle forward after their fixtures kind of spin, turn around, look better. We can go for a Newcastle forward from there. There is options. I kind of like Nkunku as another penalty taker in the team, and potentially a bit of talisman theory involved in picking a player like that as well. So yeah, let's see. But I'm not totally convinced by this pick. My mind can be changed. What do you think about Nkunku? Have you thought about him at all?
I think it's definitely a fun one. Obviously, with a new signing into the league, we have no idea how it will play out. But I mean, you look at Haaland last year. Yeah. Of course, a new signing doesn't have to have a year to bed in. They can just kick on right from the start. And yeah, the fixtures are good. As you say, I expect him to be the talisman in the team. I don't see why he couldn't do well at that price. And as always, yeah, like you mentioned, you can go elsewhere. The great thing about this team is that you have the money in the bank to go to any striker, no matter price changes, which I'm sure is something that you've thought about. Is that the main reason why you have the million, or what are you thinking the million could be used for?
I think it could go anywhere. And when I kind of saw the prices are so great this season, I kind of thought, well, I can either just spend all the money because there's so much to pick from, or you can kind of look at it, particularly in midfield, and say, look, we've got loads of midfield options. I don't know who is going to be the best ones. I can make that prediction, but by keeping that million in the bank and having a player like Marcus Rashford, I can get to anyone. I can get to anyone I want. I can make that change so quickly, so easy. Don't even need to think about it. Now, I can even take up Calvin Mitoma up to a Foden or a Maddison if I want to. I can take a Martinelli up to a Heung-min Son, for example. And you can't really do that unless you've got at least a little bit of money in the bank. So I think having that flexibility in midfield, a little bit having that flexibility for that second forward slot, if you're picking Nkunku rather than the template Jesus, I feel like it is nice to have a little bit of flexibility there as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so that is the team. Now is the all-important moment, Dan, where we find out your team rating. As always, Fantasy Football Hub's My Team tool gives you a team rating, which gives you an indication as to how good your team is according to AI. If you guys want to compare your team and your team ratings to Dan's, which we're about to reveal, the link to do so for free is down below in the description. Dan, what would you be happy with?
I would say that if you are picking a couple of differentials in your team, which I think is fine, but you can't expect a 99, 100% team rating. You just can't. But I think anything above 90%, maybe 91, 92%, if you've got a couple of differentials in, it's a solid score. So let's see what we got.
It's above that. It's 95%, which I think is really impressive, given that you have a couple of differentials in there, as you say. James not in many drafts at all, and Nkunku only in a few. A lot of money not on the team. The game week rating is 93%, perhaps because you haven't spent that million, but that could obviously pay dividends down the line. So to have a team rating of 95% and only spend 99 million is really, really quite impressive. You've got to be happy with that.
I am happy with that, to be fair. Yeah, that's a decent score. Yeah, it's nice to have that kind of reassurance, isn't it? That the players that you're picking, even though you might think they're a little bit wacky, they're a little bit out there, if they're also backed up by data, as the obviously the My Team tool uses that data and pulls that data and machine learning. If it's backed up by that, you got to think, okay, I've gone a bit different, but there must be some weight. There must be some logic behind what I've gone for there, and it's backed up, right?
Absolutely. Now, of course, there is 5% room for improvement, according to the Hub's AI. Now, we're going to get into a brilliant feature, AI's recommended transfers, in just a second, to see if you could, if that could tempt you, if you could be tempted by an extra few percent on your team rating. Okay, now cut, because this takes like a few seconds. Don't worry, this will take a couple of minutes. I presume you've had a look at these. So then, Dan, here we are. I have the Hub's recommended transfers on screen. Guys, if you want to see some recommended transfers yourself, it is currently 50% off to sign up to the site, link down below. And if you do not win your Fantasy Mini League this season, you will get all your money back. Pretty incredible offer. But, Dan, here we go. Gusto goes. Now, obviously, to fund that, he goes to a playing player, but that has to be funded. Right. By Martinelli, first of all, down to Mbermo.
Wow.
So Martinelli's gone to Mbermo. Gusto then has gone up to Stones with that money, bit of City coverage, and Nkunku has gone to Jesus, the man that you didn't choose. So they've recommended you switch that Arsenal triple up around. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I have mixed feelings about that one because I'm quite confident about Martinelli beating Jesus. But look, structurally, I totally understand why that would work. So it makes a lot of sense from a structural point of view. I think Mbumo's a good shout in general as well. So for someone else, though, these transfers might work. But it does move a little bit further towards template, which is
absolutely
something I'm trying to avoid. If I can.
You know, I rate you for it. Don't do it. It's always just an indication. It's always an indication.
Yeah.
What about City defense? What are your thoughts on them? None in your team?
Yeah, kind of curious about them. I'm not really sure what to make of them, really, because I think Guardiola is kind of on his way at this point.
Yeah.
We think that's a lot of defenders still at Manchester City. No one's left yet. Even Cancelo's still at the club somehow. Who's going to play? And maybe John Stones. I think of the Man City defenders, I feel like I like John Stones. He kind of play in that slightly more unique sort of CDM position really now, isn't it? So yeah, I see the logic there. 5.5 is a lot of money to spend on kind of a maximum of 6 points per week. Get the odd goal here and there, but no more than the likes of like a Gabriel, right? So, I don't mind John Stones, but 5.5 might be a little bit out of my price range for a centre-back / CDM.
Well, fair enough. As always, these recommended transfers are just recommendations. And all it does is just give you a little unbiased insight into what you may not be picking up on, or, you know, where you could exploit your team a little bit more. But for you, I think the team's great as it is, mate. Really like it. Couple of fun differentials in there. I mean, personally, I love the James pick as a Chelsea fan. I'll always love that man. And in FPL, as soon as I feel confident in him, he's in my team 100% of the time. Dan, thank you very much. Really enjoyed that. Guys, please do go ahead and check out Dan's channel. A much bigger channel than this, for good reason. Down below in the description. Pushing to what? 200k subs by the start of the season?
By the start, I don't know about that. We could maybe hit 200k in the next couple of months. That would be sick, but yeah.
Mate, doing really well. Really good stuff. And of course, the links to do the stuff that we have just done and get your team rated compared to Dan's are down below as well. Dan, thank you very much. And I'll see you guys all on the next My Team episode.